Greetings and salutations, friends, and welcome to World Machine. If you're not familiar with this, that's perfectly okay, because neither am I. All I know is this is the terrain creation area. This is what my basic terrain looks like. Superb, huh? Then there's the layout generator, in which I have created this. Oh, it's over here. Where's it at? There it is. I had to move my sample into an area that I liked. Not that I'm particularly fond of this particular area, but the hills around the edges were nice. Then I added this in just to cut away some of the terrain to give me the potential for adding a coastline, which I did. Then I added in the terraces, which, gives me some more definition. Then applied an erosion filter. As you can see, that does quite a substantial amount. Hang on. Blip. See how it's very hilly and rocky and whatnot. Apply the erosion filter and it weathers the terrain for you. So as you can see, a lot of the tops of the hills have been washed down into the valley where there's this green area. Then there's the coastal erosion, which just deals with this section here. And it's not very strong, which is why you can't see it. Now, the original tutorial that I was working with this, first of all, I'm going to save my height map. Actually, I'm going to build it first. There we go. Now I'm going to save my new height map. No, I'm not. That would be bad. No. There are specific sizes that you can save as, and this is not one of them. That's great for the textures, but for the actual landscape height thingy, not good. Make sure you go and check out the information in Unreal Engine 4's knowledge base, because I nearly screwed that up. So, originally what we were doing was exporting a red, green and blue texture and applying that in Unreal Engine. But in 15, for some reason, 4.15, for some reason I can't get it working properly. So I've come up with a completely different plan. Bear with me. What I'm going to do is the same kind of deal, but I'm going to export them one at a time. So this is... Whoa, that is a lot of sand. That's better. So I'm going to... What if I... ooh, that's better, actually. If I use this slope cutoff, and then the height cutoff too... There we go. I want more sand up in the top than I do in this area. Okay. So, I'm going to export that. So we will export that, and that is going to be my sand picture. So I'm exporting this as a 1024 by 1024 PNG file. Save. Write to disk. Go ahead, because I've already built it, so it doesn't matter. Right, now I'm going to swap these colors around, and we're going to go with rock. Okay, so that's going to be my rock color. I'm going to adjust my slope cutoff and my height cutoff, I think. No, my height cutoff doesn't do anything. So I'm going to adjust my slope cutoff. Right. Okay. And leave it like that. So this is for my rocks. So specify a file. This is a new one. This is going to be rocks, so which is this one here. So I'm just going to overwrite that one. Yep, that's fine. And return that back to black. Vegetation, make that white. Okay. I don't want vegetation too far up. And I don't want vegetation on hard slopes either. So I'm going to play with these sliders until I get something that looks... There we go. Alright, so that's going to be my vegetation there. Some of it's going to be underground, but whatever. So let's output this one. Where are we? Veg. As you can see, the previous file was not quite as clearly defined as this one. Okay. The normal map, I don't need to adjust the normal map because... Sorry, English was hard for a moment there. Because I haven't actually adjusted the physical layout of the terrain. So the normal map that I currently have doesn't matter. Oh. I do. Well, maybe I can do it with this one. Let's go back to rock. Because I know rock was pretty... Oh, you know what? There's slope cutoff here. I'm being stupid. Okay, slope cutoff. Yeah, that's not going to work because... Oh, actually, maybe it will. Okay, yeah, that's not going to work. Ah, lighting. That's the one I want. Okay, so we'll pretend that this is our slope coverage. Oops. Okay, so output that one. Specify an output type, and this is this is now going to be slope. La la, write that to disk. Yes. Do. Right. I guess these I can get rid of now. Whatever. Bye bye. And that's that. Build. Oops. All right. Coastal erosion. Now let me go all the way through this again. La 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 la. Generate that. There we go. So, this is what we have in World Machine. Okay. So now we need to get this into Unreal Engine. And that's the fun part. So here we are in Unreal Engine, and the first thing I want to do is get rid of the floor. Do I? Well, I'm going to leave the floor there. Nuts to it. It doesn't make any difference to me. Nope. Kill the floor. Bye. Beep. Floor's gone. Right. Okay, yes, I did kind of, sort of clear it out a little bit. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is import my terrain. So, okay, we go up here. You should be familiar with this bit. I need to go find my terrain. Landscape data, there's my terrain. And it just looks so splendid like that. Okay, let's import it properly. There we go. Now it's imported, I need to rebuild the lighting. So, yeah, let's do that now. Right, that's the lighting dealt with. So now we have... Well, it's not very impressive, is it? Let's create ourselves the material for our terrain. So we're going to call this Landscape Mat 2. Because this is the potentially second part of my landscape chain. I'm trying to plan ahead. It doesn't happen very often. So, that's that. Right, now comes the fun bit. I gotta find some textures. That's all my textures. So let's clean these up a little bit. Come on. Right, so get those cleaned up. Landscape coordinates. Very important. And I'm going to use 2 of these, one for each set. Like that. And I'm going to another one there. Just to keep things tidy. I could just stretch off the other node, but that would give me long tree branches, and I'm not a big fan of long tree branches. Right, now I need the layer stuff. Layer, you know what? I've not had a great deal of success with layer blend. I've been using layer weight, but I'm going to go with layer blend today, because I'm a sucker for punishment. So, I need grass. I need rock. I need gravel or sand. We might as well call it as we should. And finally, face. Rock face or cliff face or... What about slope? Right. So now I just link these in. One there, one there, one there, and one there, and I should be able to link that out like that. Right. Specular, we don't want any speculosity. Constant of 0. I'm going to take that and I'm going to put that into... No, I'm not. I'm going to use my normals for the roughness, whatever. So let's do another layer blend. Exactly the same. Grass. Rock. Gravel. And slope. Or slop, or whatever you want to call it. Right, so grass, oops, rock, gravel, slope. Now these are normals. I'm also going to plug them into roughness, just for the extra show. Right, that's that bit done. So I'm going to save. Close this out. So what we've done is we've now got a single material, and inside that material we have we've defined 4 submaterials. One's called grass, one's called rock, one's called gravel, and one's called slope. And to each of those we've assigned a texture. Now, from here backwards, you could do whatever you want. You can animate your textures. You can do whatever you can usually do with a standard texture. Or material, rather. And we've done the same here. Using the grass, we've assigned the normal maps. And we've got the coordinates set up. Sure, whatever. Right. Let me kill that. So, let's go ahead and assign. We will assign our landscape material, which needs saving apparently, again, to our landscape itself. So, click on the landscape, click on this, select our landscape material, which if it's this color or like a bright blue or a bright green or something other than a texture or white, it should be pretty easy to find in your list. Look, there it is. Now we let the shaders compile, which takes a moment, and dun dun dun, blackness. But our textures, which we've embedded inside this, are showing up in our paint. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to create the info for each particular layer. This is going to be our mask information. Basically, this is going to tell it where to paint and where not to paint. So, and I'm going to use the weighted blend type. And I'm going to save those somewhere relatively sensible. That seems like a good spot. And again with the next one. And again with the next one. Lots of mouse clicking. And one more time. Right, so these have all got the little markers on them, so I'm going to go in and save them like that, just to prevent any weirdness from occurring. Right, so all those markers are now gone. Oh, but our terrain is still black. Well, because we still haven't told it where we need the paint applied. We've got the, these are our paints. We can actually use the paint tool and start painting if we wanted to. But the whole point of this is to use the texture output from World Machine to paint our landscape in the quickest, laziest way possible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to import from a file. This is grass, so I'm going to import my veg one like this. And it's going to complain. It's a color, but it was expecting a grayscale. Well, that's not a big deal. It's also a slightly different size. My map size is 1009, but my texture size is 1024. Really what I should have done was adjusted the texture size before I exported it, so it's matching. Otherwise, what it's going to do is just clip the overrun. But not a big deal. So now we can see that our grass texture has been applied, but not everywhere, only in those areas that it needed it. Right? Okay, so now we can do the same with a rock. So we are going to import from file, and I'm going to find the one that says rock. Where is it? There it is. Rock. Open. Same two error messages. Now this again is applying that mask. Now you've just noticed that the grass has changed color. What's happened is because these are grayscale, and you can see it actually if I open Explorer here. Hang on. And drag that over. There we go. As you can see, these are not black and white, these are grayscale. And even though this area here, wait a minute, rock, that's the one. Even though this area here looks black, it's not. What I could do is take these into Photoshop and stretch the color gradients. So this would be black and this would be white. And it would change everything in between for us. So what's happening is we've got maybe a 10% bleed through on this layer into this one. Or if you want to look at it the other way, we've got a we've got a 90% bleed through into here. With me? So that's why that's changed color a little bit. Now we will apply the gravel, which is, what did we call that? Well, that was sand, wasn't it? The sand one. Now this one shouldn't change too much, because the sand is only in those corners. But it will still change color. It will still apply sand to pretty much most of the map. Again, but it will only be like a 10% blend because of that dark spot. And then the slopes. So we will import the slope file. Where is that one? Rock. Sand slope, that's the one. And import the slope file. So all the really steep slopes should now have a slightly different texture applied to them. There, you can kind of sort of see it's happening. Right, so that's our terrain painted in the most lazy way possible. Right, so now we've got these wonderful textures here. There you go. You can see that nice repeating pattern because, well, because. So it's pretty blank though. Let's do something about that. Now, one thing we can do, we can use the vegetation painter to paint grass everywhere. But we're trying to do this the lazy way, aren't we? So let's not do that. Let's go into our landscape material. Well, actually, first of all, what I need to do is show you this. Oh, actually, let me just delete that. Yep. And we'll delete that one. Yep. Go away. Doesn't matter. So we're going to make a new grass element that we can import. So we have grass sticking up out of the ground and waving in the breeze and getting the way. So first thing we need to do is go start a new... I guess it's a material. So under miscellaneous, we want landscape grass type. I'm going to call this basic grass. Because why not? That's what the last one was called, and it seemed to work perfectly fine. Now what this is doing is defining the object that we are going to be using for our grass. So the first thing we need to do is add one. So now we've got one. Okay? 0. So now we need to find our mesh. Now, before you go off looking for your mesh, make sure you adjust your density first. If you're going to adjust your density first. I'm going to take that down to 300. Wait. Yes, I'm going to take that down to 300. Now I'm going to find my grass type. I've got the foliage package loaded, so down here somewhere I've got this guy here, and I've also got these guys. These are actually from a third party, but I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to change it to free so they're not all going to be exactly the same size. I'm going to change the scale to 0.5. So there's going to be a variation in the height, and the maximum height I'm going to change to 1.25. So we should get a nice variation in the height of the grass. So now I'm going to save. I'm going to close. And lo and behold, nothing happens. Well, it wouldn't do because we've actually got to plug it in, don't we? So what I'm going to do is open my texture that I've applied to my landscape. And I need to add, hang on, a landscape sample. And what this is going to do is look for areas where it can find grass, the grass layer, right? So I need to tell it, I'm looking for grass. Anywhere you find the grass layer, I want you to add what I'm about to add. So now we type in grass because we want the grass output. Drag that down, link the two up. So anywhere I find grass, I want you to insert whatever is going to be in here. So anywhere that you find grass, I want you to look through this array or this list for the one named grass and apply this, the landscape class that we just created. So anytime you come across the grass layer, I want you to add the grass type based upon my label. Right? Clear? Probably as mud. Now I'm going to hit save. I'm going to wait a moment. And when I close this window, something amazing should happen. Oh, wait. Well, we'll let it finish compiling the shaders first. Doesn't take long. It's an i7. Right. Now when I close the window, there is grass everywhere and my frame rate has gone kaplooey. Because this is actually some pretty high quality grass. Now I can adjust that. I can say instead of 300, let's say 200. And I'm going to do that. Oops. Turn that off. Turn that off. Hit save. There we go. That's got my frame rate back down a little bit. But this is some pretty good quality grass, so yeah, I am, you know, I'm going to see some frame drop off. Now, if I don't like this grass, I can very easily change it. Let's go find that third-party one. Where's it at? This one. Let's use this grass instead. See what that does. So I'm going to hit save. Let it consider it for a minute, and look at that. And my frame rate's back up to like 1,000,000. Now, that's not bad. It's not bad at all. Let's add some variety. So we've got this one grass here. Let's go in and let's get back that other one. Well, first of all, remember what I said about changing your density first. Well, actually, let's change this up to 300. I'm going to change this down to 50 per tile. And I am going to adjust. We're going to leave it uniform. Let's grab that other one again. And hit save. Let it catch up. So now we have two different types of grass being added to our scene. We've got the cheap one, and we've got the slightly more expensive one. And it gives us a nice non-uniform look to our ground. Well, we can do even better than that. So now we're happy with those two grasses. Let's add in some weeds. So now I'm going to take this down to 5 because I don't want them to propagate too much. I'm going to change this again. I'm going to take this down to 0.5, but I'm going to take the maximum up to 1.25. Just like that. Actually, you know what? Let's leave that at 1, and we'll take this up to 1.5. That way our weeds are coming up above our grass. Now let's go find some weeds. Where are we? Buttercup patch. Again, this is in that kite demo download. It's like a 6 gig download of I can't remember what it's bloody called. What's it called? There we go. The open world demo collection. Oh, damn. It's bigger than I thought it was. Yeah, you can download this and you can just inject it into any of your projects that you have going. So now we've got the Buttercup going. Let's hit save. So I've got this appearing 5 times every 10 square meters. So there we have it. See, there's some here, and there's a yellow one over there. Right? And now you can actually, if you wanted to, see how the grass changes density depending. Now, if you want to, you can go back in and paint this. Let me. Now, this, I know this section here. Let me go up a little bit. I want this section here to be just grass with nothing else. So what I'm going to do is select the grass tool. I'm going to take that up. Take my brush size up as well. Make sure my fall off is really high so I don't get too much. Well, I'm going to get a nasty transition no matter what. But what I can do when I hit the button here is I'm going to take away the layers underneath it, or technically paint over the top of them, because you can only have a maximum strength of 1, and right now it's being, that 1 is being divided by the influence in these layer types. So you can almost see how it's changing color ever so slightly. I'm going to change my tool down so I can bring that up into there, bring that up into there a little bit, up into there, that way, around there, up in there, up there, up there. I'm going to take it down a little bit more. Okay. Up there a little bit like that, up in there, up that way, and around and out that way a little bit, and up there. It's a very subtle change, which actually is good. I like that, because from a distance it doesn't look too crap. So now if we zoom in a little bit, these areas that I've just painted should end up with a much more dense amount of grass there. Yeah, you can kind of sort of see it. It's coming through now. And then as we go up, that density will change. There's no grass in our rock because this is mostly either rock or slope. Whereas this section here is going to be a mix of probably gravel and sand, gravel and grass. Whereas this is going to be rock and slope, and then up the top here we're going to be okay, now right, that is that. So over here, this is going to be more sand than it is grass, which, yeah, you can kind of see. But what I can do, or sorry, gravel. But what I can do is just paint that in here a bit more heavily. La 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 la. There we go. Oh, good grief. Okay, let's take that back down to 4, because I really suck at this. And there we go. We've gotten rid of a lot of the grass that was appearing in there. Now what we can do is we could add another landscape type. Let's go ahead and add another landscape type. So, where is it? Miscellaneous, grass type. So we are going to do... Oh, nice. No spaces. If you want spaces, use an underscore. So now we're going to use basic rocks. Now one of the really cool things about this is you can use it for anything that is geometry based. Which means trees, cubes, circles, anything that is geometry based you can use to spawn in that as a brush, not just grass. So what I'm going to do is find a rock. What do I know? Boulder. There we go, there's a boulder. We'll use a boulder. And I am going to change this so it can be... oops. Pebble-sized. But I don't want it too big either, because I know that this is pretty large. So we're going to take it to 0.7, I think. Okay, and hit save, close, and oh my god, nothing's happened. Well, because I need to go back in here, click on this, I need to add another array element and call this rock. Just like my landscape layer label right there. And I need another sample because I need to make sure that my sample system is picking up the rock layer. So, landscape sample. And I'm looking for rock layer. And when I find it, I want you to apply rock. So now I'm going to click on this. I don't have anything assigned, so nothing is going to happen right now. Let me hit save. Up, compiling shaders, blah, blah, blah. Let it do that. Come on. There we go. Right. So, yeah, no rocks. Nothing. How disappointing. Oh, it's still compiling shaders. Okay. Right. So, let's go in. And now we have our basic rocks. So we'll click on that. Hit save. Let it do its thing. It's going to compile the shaders again. Yay! While it's doing that, I can take a swig of tea. Close this out. And rocks have appeared. Where? There. There's a rock. Do you not see the rock? The rock has appeared. Now this looks really crap because, like I said, I don't really have access to any amazingly fantastic textures. But this is definitely a good starting point. Now, one of the really cool things about doing this method is you can use it as your basis for continuation. If you wanted to do this by hand, or if you wanted to come back and you can do the touch-up by hand, I can click on this, click on the layer, click on slope. We'll change the brush size up, we'll change that down, and now I can just hit the slopes with, you know, the texture I want. And they look pretty shoddy. I mean, it's a really nice texture, but I'm using it incorrectly. But that's that. That's, you know, that's getting your textures in from World Machine, applying them to your landscape, adding grass, which is amazing, because it really does help sell your landscape when you're actually down walking around on it. But yeah, get yourself some decent textures. Play with the sizing of them, and away you go. Hope that's been helpful. Don't be afraid to experiment.